Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm meteorologist Jamie Martin. Taking a look right now what's going on with our tropical storm Elsa as it continues to push its way through parts of the Caribbean here. So, boy, around Kingston right now, Jamaica, over towards Cuba, they've been dealing, unfortunately, with Elsa during the daytime hours today, and it's going to continue to push its way in towards the rest of Cuba as we continue our way through the rest of today and into the overnight hours. Winds themselves still of 60 miles per hour. Let's take a look right now and see what's going on with our app. And again, you want to keep this thing handy because we are going to be very busy over the next couple of days with problems stretching all the way from the Caribbean back through parts here of possibly Florida. Again, this is all up in the air still, but this is what things are looking like right now. Well, all the indications kind of factored in here. Right now, let me take you a little bit closer here. The actual center of circulation, again, beginning to move its way away from Jamaica. That's good news, and we'll continue to watch everything kind of pushing its way generally off more towards the northwest now instead of the west. And so that's just showing that the actual storm is beginning to get on the edge of that ridge of high pressure. And that means it's going to be going northwestward here over the next couple of days. That's going to take it over the western parts here of Cuba before it eventually makes its way back out here into parts of the Gulf of Mexico. Let me take this down a little bit more so you can see it a little bit easier here. And you can generally see it would be very, very close, of course, to Key West and then eventually somewhere in the eastern part of the Gulf of Mexico. And right now, things look like it's going to be edging up very close to the coastal sections here, the west coastal sections of the state of Florida here, all the way from Tampa Bay, Clearwater, Dunedin, all the way down towards Largo. This is where we could be seeing some problems from it. And again, the way it looks right now, even if it doesn't make a direct hit until it even gets up towards the Panhandle, still going to be dragging all that moisture, all those showers, all those thunderstorms will be on the east side here in the state of Florida. And that means we're going to be in the tougher side. That's the part that you get the gustier winds. You've got those bands coming through nonstop. Even before the actual center of circulation moves in, you have to deal with the problem that you would get with those bands moving their way through. Those bands will contain very heavy rain, extremely heavy rain, and unfortunately very gusty winds even before, again, the center makes its way onshore. So again, we're watching things very carefully with all of that. Let's go ahead and take a look right now. Let me show you what's been going on as soon as that trip's over. Okay, let me go over to WSI because I do want to show you what's going on because we have had a couple of changes out there as far as the watches go. And again, what we're looking right now are those tropical storm watches stretching all the way to the north right now. And again, just north of Tampa Bay. So again, we're going to be looking at the possibility of these tropical storm conditions here over the next 48 hours, all the way from Tampa southward. We go all the way through Fort Myers, all the way down towards the Keys and parts of the Keys right now, including Key West, underneath those tropical storm warnings. And those warnings will continue. Those will be, let me just drop that a little bit. That's already going on right now. The actual technicality is the Florida Keys. It's going to be from Craig Key westward to the Dry Tortugas. And then the other things we have going on here are going to be the surges that we have to worry about. We have the storms watches. Those are in effect right now, again, for Florida Bay, also the west coast of Florida, and that's from Flamingo all the way up towards Anclo Key, and that's over by the Anclo River. And so that's going to be one of the biggest problems that we have out there. And we're also, going to be dealing, unfortunately, with a bit of a storm surge, too. In fact, a storm surge watch is in effect. That's going to be on the west coast of Florida from Bonita Beach all the way to the Swanee River. So getting up towards the Big Bend over on the west coast of Florida. So we'll have to watch for that very carefully. Again, could be looking at a storm surge of up to 2 to 4 feet over towards Tampa Bay, depending on the ultimate track here of our system as it moves its way through. So again, Elsa could be causing some problems out there. We could see around Key West, could be looking at 1 to 3 foot storm surge. That's what we're looking at right now. But 2 to 4, again, possible. And the big problem here with the state of Florida is that you're sitting here in the Gulf of Mexico on the East Coast, and when you have these storms come in, because of the winds coming in on that easterly side, it's going to be pushing all of that, all those waves, all that water up against the West Coast, and that will trap a lot of that water inside Tampa Bay itself. And that's where we could be seeing some problems out there. About 2 to 4 foot storm surge possible from that system. Let me take you out a little bit more here. Again, arrival as far as the tropical storm force winds. Here's what we're looking at. Probably Monday for the most part, all the way to the Keys, but then late Monday night through Tuesday could be moving its way into central Florida here. And we're talking about from about 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. moving its way right on up the Florida coast here and moving its way all the way up towards Jacksonville as we get in towards Wednesday morning at about 8 a.m. So again, this is what we're looking at in terms of the actual timing with those storms and those storms surge winds. But those winds will be very, very gusty. In fact, here's a look right now. What we're looking at, again, the storm itself is continuing to put its way. Elsa is moving right there off of Jamaica. It's right in between Jamaica and Cuba, and it will be shifting its way, again, generally in that location. Now, it's a little bit of a ragged surface in terms of its congealing together. That's what you have to really have happen to these storms for them to get those eyes once again of hurricanes. So we're not looking at that right now. That is good news, but we are looking at a decent sized tropical storm moving its way through right now. As far as the actual track goes right now, the tropic tracker right now brings it through sometime on Tuesday. And as you can see, by about Wednesday at about 2 p.m., possibly making its way from the northern parts of Florida into the southern parts of Georgia. Not going to last for very long, but it will be moving through as an area of low pressure through parts of the Carolinas and eventually moving its way off of the mid-Atlantic and heading its way quickly off towards the northeast, going up to about 35, 40 miles per hour as far as speed goes by the time it gets offshore. So not going to last for that long, but the biggest problem is going to be just over the next 2 to 3 days as we see Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's when it will be holding its own as it moves its way in towards parts of the Gulf of Mexico. We have a lot of very warm water out there. Water temps running at about 85 degrees. Here's another wider look here. In fact, what we're looking at right now is the Euro model. This is the one we're going to be looking at right now, moving its way off of the eastern or western part there of Cuba, then moving its way off here into the Gulf of Mexico. And right now it does keep it a little bit farther off. So again, we're looking at computer models. That's why everything again is just a best guess, if you want to call it that. Basically, nothing is written in stone here, so this could change constantly over the next couple of days. So we're giving you the best idea of where it could be over the next 3 to 5 days, and that would be putting it just offshore the west coast of Florida. But again, some of the models take it a little bit farther off to the west. Some of the other ones take it farther east and put it over the mainland part here, including around Orlando, as we head our way through Tuesday and into Wednesday. So again, it's a big wide swath there that this thing could be moving as we progress our way through the next couple of days. And here's a look at those sea surface temperatures I mentioned. The water temperatures themselves looking very warm, mid-80s out there at the present time. Let me see if I can jump over here and find out what I was looking for, and that was going to be some of those questions you might have on the chat room. Let me see what we have going on right now, see what people have to say. Winds again, 60 miles per hour. I just want to go back over everything real quick. Again, a 60 mile per hour maximum wind with Elsa as we continue to watch it moving very quickly off towards the northwest compared to what it was before, about 14 miles per hour. Remember a couple of days ago, this thing was moving at nearly 30 miles per hour. So 14, we like to keep it moving quickly, but right now it's at 14 miles per hour moving to the northwest, and we'll watch it stay with the northwest movement probably the next day and a half before it starts to shift a little bit more to the north as it moves into the eastern parts of the Gulf of Mexico. Let me take a look right now and see what we've got going on right now. The villages in Florida, someone's talking about the villages, and that's one of the things you'll really have to be careful of is the fact that even if you're not near the center of circulation, as I was mentioning, such as if this does indeed stay offshore of Tampa and of Fort Myers and things like that, it doesn't matter if you're right there at the center of circulation. You don't want to be there, that's for sure, but don't keep that as, don't think about that. Think about the fact that this is going to be a very wide system as it moves its way through parts of the Gulf of Mexico, and we are going to be on the tougher side, which is the easterly side here in the state of Florida as that system moves. You'll see what happens in Key West. We'll kind of be able to see what's going on as it does move a little bit closer to Key West. We'll get some video. We'll get some reports going on in terms of how severe some of those wind gusts are. In fact, we'll see some of that pretty soon within the next day. Now, as the system moves its way northward, we'll watch it kind of marching its way up the coastal sections here of Florida. And you'll see that in the inland sections, wouldn't be surprised to see some watches, some warnings going in effect, even if it's not technically a tropical storm watch or warning. It could be a warning such as a tornado watch or a tornado warning occasionally because of the fact that you're dealing with some very dangerous conditions when you're talking about even a tropical storm here with all of that moisture to work with. So again, could be looking at some problems. So the villages, places like that, again, you're going to be inland, so you're not worried about storm surge or anything like they are over towards Tampa Bay, Fort Myers, Sarasota area, things like that. However, you will be dealing with the possibility of those strong and possibly dangerous storms as they pass their way through. Let me see what else we have going on to continue. Let's see. I used my 6 days. People are talking about what they're going to do as far as that goes. People actually technically thinking about moving, or at least going on there, going up north for a little bit of a break out there. And yeah, it looks like a lot of people are just, kind of planning on what they're going to be doing as far as what's going on. One of the biggest things you want to do, we still have Sunday, we still have our 4th of July and our Independence Day to enjoy. And you can, but don't forget, make sure you have all your plans ready and set to go, and at least be ready to go tomorrow possibly, and pick up some of those supplies, things like that, just in case. Don't forget when you go there, just give yourself a little bit of extra time, because people are going to possibly start kind of freaking out a little bit because of the fact that we're talking about it being so close to the state of Florida. However, again, we're going to be watching it carefully in terms of exactly where it does go. And either way, just if you are going out getting supplies, things like that, get the smart supplies, things like canned food, things you're going to use anyway, and then bring those home and be ready. As far as losing power, we'll of course keep people up to date on that also. In fact, our app does that really good job. In fact, it does pick that right away, and we have these blue boxes that basically pop up whenever we have that. So if you are wondering just how many people are without power because of a possible tropical system moving through called Elsa, you can always find that out also as that system moves its way up. So this could be something that impacts not only Florida, but also, again, South Carolina, North Carolina, and parts of the mid-Atlantic here. But again, it's mainly going to be very heavy rain in many locations. That's going to be one of the biggest problems as we head our way through. Let me see if we've got anything else specific going on right now. Homestead, that's a good question. Right now, thank you for that, Brando. Also, what about the Homestead area? Homestead, it looks a lot better, of course, obviously, than it did in 1992 with Andrew, that's for sure. Homestead, some people may not even remember Andrew, but I remember it quite well because I was working in Gainesville at the time. But Homestead shouldn't be that bad. You will be dealing with at least the outskirts, the outermost bands as they kind of scoot their way through. I think it'll be a lot worse closer towards the west coast here, eventually through the Everglades, and then getting over towards Naples. That's where we're going to see it really hitting at first, and then kind of moving its way upward. So West Palm Beach, if you're going down to West Palm Beach, you know someone there, you're still going to probably see some of those bands. But again, this all depends exactly on where the center of circulation goes. So if it does swing a little bit more offshore, kind of takes a little bit more of a jog to the west, that's good news for folks in the eastern half here of Florida. But of course, if it decides to go a little bit closer to the east here over the next couple of days, we could see some problems in Homestead. So again, there's no way of saying yes or no in terms of Homestead, how bad it's going to be, but it's something that bears watching as we go through the next couple of days. And again, the big timing here is going to be basically Monday down towards tomorrow, down towards Key West, because it's going to start to get a little bit worse there, especially by late in the day and into the overnight hours. And then Tuesday for the central part of the state, Wednesday for the top of the state. And then as we get in towards late Wednesday into Thursday, then it's going to be more up towards the Carolinas. So again, this is definitely something we're going to have to watch very carefully. Let me real quick go back here. I want to go back over to that one. There we go. The current watches again. If you want to pop that up, if you can, for me. Basically, what we're looking at is, again, we're still looking at the problems out there. Those are watches. Those are tropical storm watches. And the other big thing is going to be storm surge, as I mentioned, because of the fact all that water, it's very shallow, and it pushes all that water up against there. And depending on exactly how strong Elsa is as it moves its way off of Cuba and into the open water of the Eastern Gulf, if it does intensify just a bit, could see that storm surge get even worse once it gets up towards the Big Bend, Horseshoe Beach, over towards Deacle Beach also. If you have any idea what I'm talking about, that's going to be on the west coast. That's going to be a less populated area, but a lot of folks have places up there. So again, Deacle Beach, Horseshoe Beach, Alligator Point, places like that, you do want to be careful of that, because could be looking at that 4-foot mark there as far as the storm surge goes as we continue our way through the next couple of days. So again, Tuesday and Wednesday will be the big problem for that. And a lot of folks, of course, are going to be planning things. A lot of folks probably have their 4th of July celebrations extending for the entire week. They probably took the week off since they have Monday off. If you are planning anything that has to do with getting out of the coastal sections here, especially the west coast of Florida coming up over the next couple of days, definitely want to at least reach out and see if you can actually make that reservation, because of the fact that some places may just be closing things down a bit as the system moves through. Haven't heard a lot about any kind of closings or anything like that. That's going to be the big thing that starts to occur tomorrow. So today is kind of the day, again, to think about what it is that you might need as far as your plan goes. Just have your plan ready. I'm not saying run out and exercise exercise it, go out there and do it and get everything right now. I'm not saying run out and do that. If you would like to do that, if it makes you feel better, yes, absolutely. Go out there and make yourself feel better and have it anyway. It's great to have batteries, things like that, the food, the water, stuff like that. Get things you're going to be using anyway. If you want to go out there and get them tonight, that's great. If you don't, just have them ready. Have that idea. Have that little, grab that pen and pencil if you want, put it in your phone, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you keep that list. That way, when you think to yourself, you know what, that's even getting closer. And now some of those watches are turning into warnings, which I guarantee is going to happen tomorrow. Some of those watches that we have, especially from Fort Myers southward, going to be turning into warnings more than likely during the day tomorrow. So as the warnings start to spread northward and the watches start spreading more farther northward, people are going to start thinking more about, I need to go get stuff. I need to go get gas. I need to do things like that. Go fill up your car. Why not fill your car up? Because you got to have it anyway. You're going to use the gas, that's for sure. So just do it while you can before things start to get a little more chaotic. You know how things get. Even in the state of Florida, when we're talking about people getting prepared for hurricanes, because it gets people get a little bit antsy. We use the word antsy instead of what other people use and things like that. Let's just say people that live in Florida, we're all very unique people, that's for sure. We're very tough and when it comes to tropical systems, but sometimes waiting in a very long line to fill up your car, yeah, you can get a little bit mad, shall we say. We'll just use the word mad. Let's see. The generator, it's gotten the generator yesterday and the propane today. Oh, there you go. Okay, we're talking about generator and propane. Again, if you're going to be doing something like that, just make sure, obviously, and I said it yesterday, so I won't go too far into it, but if you didn't see this yesterday, basically, one of the biggest things with the generator and propane, things like that, don't do it inside. And generator, yes, it's an expensive piece of equipment. $600-700 at the least, probably in most locations. But if you have one, just lock it up if you can do. Get a padlock, get a chain, something like that. But you got to keep it outside. You cannot put it in the garage, even though it kind of seems like the garage is separated from the rest of the house. Not the case. You don't want to have it in your garage. Even if that door is open, it's too close. You can get that carbon monoxide invading inside the house. So don't have it inside your garage. Don't have it inside at all. Propane, same thing. But make sure if you do, go get a new thing of propane for sure, because you're going to use it anyway because you're grilling. You probably use most of it today while you're out celebrating the 4th of July. I made brats and hot dogs before I came in. And by the way, they were very good. But that's the kind of thing you do. You tend to use things like that, propane and stuff like that. And it's hard to really check unless you have, one that actually has a measuring area. It shows you how much is left. But it's easy to run out all of a sudden. So make sure things like that are on your list, that if you want to go get now, you may feel free to just jump on out and go do it right now. If you want to wait, though, maybe tomorrow. But again, just have that list ready so you can try to get one place, get everything, and then get back and kind of put it down, get it all packed away and have it ready. And again, we're not saying, and I am not saying, and I hope you don't run into someone that says, oh, this is where it's going to go. I guarantee it. I'm never wrong. No, yeah, everybody's always wrong. Let me put it that way, because of the fact that it's a science. It's a science. We only have so much information. So we can never say categorically that this is exactly where this is going to go. So what we're doing is basically looking at where we think it's going to go. And that's what we want to do, is give you the alert that something is coming, whether it's going to go down your street or it's going to go down the next county. That's what we'll have to wait and see as it gets a little bit closer to the state of Florida. And one of the other things I mentioned yesterday is these things that are very fickle, and they do have a tendency to shift kind of at the last second. So like it was with Charlie, we were talking about yesterday, basically as things move in, and this is when it's kind of going to be close, Fort Myers area, Cape Coral, places like that, you got to watch it very carefully, because even though it may be about 50, 60 miles offshore, if it does make that turn suddenly, then it could be drawing its way closer very quickly. And then it could be moving from possibly along the coastal sections over towards Tampa and Clearwater. It could be somewhere closer to that, or it could be somewhere closer to Orlando maybe. If it really wanted to shift off to the east, which it could always do, we could be looking at it more towards the Cape, places like that. So definitely something that bears watching. In fact, here's a look, actually, if we could jump on that also. Damien, we can show you a couple different places that we have out there. In fact, one of them is going to be over there at the Cape. And again, I don't think they're probably doing much besides just being alerted to the fact that there's going to be something close. But Cape Canaveral, not a bad, terrible day, but again, still dealing with some scattered showers and thunderstorms there. But you also have Pinellas County. Pinellas County, oh my goodness. Born and raised over in Clearwater, Dunedin area. And I can tell you way back when, and I won't say when, but way back then, it's unbelievable just how crowded it was. And we're talking a long time ago. And it's still just as, if not worse, crowded. So it's very crowded. So if people did decide to leave or they had to evacuate, there were evacuations, which there are not right now. But if there ever were, it does take a while to get over the bridges. Obviously, you can take 19 and go north, though, and eventually head up the coast and then cut in from there. But there's a lot of people there. There are so many people there. So basically, that's another place that would be a bit of a problem as far as that goes. So that was Pinellas County. Now, even Jacksonville, depending on the ultimate track here, the fact that Jacksonville would be on the east side also for a good chunk of the time could also be dealing with things like the high winds, the very heavy rain, those rain bands coming through, and the possibility of tornadoes maybe also. So again, this is just something that you're going to have to sit back and just pay attention and know that possibly we could be dealing with those kind of conditions here, tropical storm conditions with winds up to 40, 45, 50 miles per hour possible, even if you're not near the center of circulation. So again, could be a bit on the rough side. So if you have any kind of plans, you got to work like a lot of people still do. You do want to be aware of that. So if you do have to go into work, you want to make sure you get your plan ready and get it executed just before that. So you don't have to worry about that when you get home from work. See what else we got in here. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. That really is. Thanks so much for that. Yeah, 100% correct. That is for sure. Yep, there's someone in Oldsmar. Awesome. Gainesville, Florida. Great place to go to school in Gainesville. That's for sure. Although I went to Florida and Florida State. So I guess I'm a rebel. But let's see. Generator was a must during the Iowa Oh, derecho. Oh, I won't get into a derecho, but I've been through derechos before. Oh, yeah. People are, you would be shocked at how devastating those can be. Let's just stick with what we got, though. So tropical system, it's just one of those things you just have to be aware of the fact that it's out there. Right now, we've got our watches. We've got our warnings for the Keys. We got the tropical storm watches in effect all the way up towards Tampa Bay. And again, some of those could be extended northward tomorrow and maybe even late tonight. And we could be looking at those changing over into warnings. So again, whether it's a watch, whether it's a warning, whether that goes straight down your street, whether the center of circulation of Elsa is 150 miles away from you, you're still going to be possibly getting hit by one of those bands. So you're going to have the gusty winds and problems like that. So I will let you guys go. We'll be going live during the storm. John asked me if we're going to be going live during the storms, and I like how he said like the big guys. Well, I've been one of the big guys for about 30 years, so just goes show that if anybody remembers from 2004. Especially, that was one of the bigger years to work in television, that's for sure. And I worked for the #1 television station in Orlando. So basically, yeah, I've been through plenty of them out there. We're going to be doing a lot of lives. We're going to be doing a lot of informative things out there. And just remember that for us especially, it's not about putting on a show. It's not about things like that. You're not seeing anybody running in behind me. You don't see any makeup on. You don't see a suit on, things like that. And I'm not rolling up my sleeves because I don't even have any, long sleeves on. And the reason why is because we're here to be informative and help educate you in terms of what's going on. So we're very different, and that is for sure. We are not a television station, and MyRadar is not about that. We're about helping keep people safe and just making their lives easier and better. And that's really what we're all about. So that is my goal. That is exactly what it is. I'm working in television was great. I learned a lot doing it, and that's going to help me with this And every day I learn more about the weather. So that's something that changes all the time as we continue to learn stuff. So there's so many things that you can learn as far as the weather goes and what you can do about it. So it's a fascinating job. I hope that I'm doing a good job. Hopefully I'm connecting with everybody. I do want to, let everybody know that, you're not going to see me performing for you. You're just going to pretty much be stuck seeing me. The real me. And for me, being from Florida, I have a tendency to, I'm very good about compartmentalizing some of what some people might fear. The gusty winds, the possibility of the tornadoes, the storm surges when I used to live over on the coast. Nothing like that bothers me because I've been informed about them, and I've already figured out what to do if something like that happens. And that's kind of what I want all of you to do also is, if you have questions, you can always shoot questions to us. You can explore out there on anywhere in the internet, all the social mediums too. Basically, we want you to just stay safe. We want you to be able to look at that and go, oh, I know what I'm doing. That's what I want you guys to do, is just sit back and go, I know what I'm doing. And just don't be surprised by anything, because anything can happen as far as the weather goes, and it can during storms like this. And we definitely don't want you guys stuck out there. So let's see. I'm glad you like the fact that I'm from Florida. That is actually a good thing. And the 2004. Yep. Oh, those 4 hurricanes. Yes. Hey, 5 weeks without power. I was 8 days, 7 days, 7 days, maybe 2. So they beat me with 5 weeks without power. But again, that's one of the big problems that we have out there. It really comes down to the fact that, I'm not saying if you're not from Florida, you don't know what you're talking about. A lot of people do. There's a lot of great meteorologists. And everybody that I work with here, same situation. We're all very smart, and we all enjoy what we do and enjoy learning more and more. So we have been ready for this hurricane season. Hopefully we won't even be dealing with a hurricane. Hopefully it'll still be a tropical storm as Elsa continues moving its way through parts of Cuba. Elsa still has to make it over Cuba before we even have an idea whether she's going to be accelerating or whether she's going to be getting a little bit stronger as she moves her way off into the open parts of the Gulf of Mexico. Might see a little bit of intensification. Again, this is something that as this storm itself gets closer, they're going to be shooting out left and right all these advisories, and so we'll be getting it, and you'll be getting it on your app. Make sure you have it handy, and make sure you stay tuned, and we'll give you live information. But it's one of those things where we've given you that opportunity to have the app and to use that app to help keep you also informed, so you can keep yourself safe. And that way, when your neighbor comes by and goes, "Well, have you heard anything?" Just go, "Yeah, I have." Well, of course, tell them after that you say that, but yeah, pull it out and just go, it's right here. Keep it handy. That way, if for some reason, don't forget, please keep all your batteries, and for goodness sakes, make sure you have those alternate chargers for your phones, because more than likely we're going to have some power outages if it does indeed take this track. And the thing is, you want to make sure you have some way to charge that, because you don't want to be there sitting with the unfortunate dead phone, because otherwise people are going to try to call you, you're going to try to call people, and everybody's going to start worrying about you. So instead of having people worry about you, make sure you have a way to charge your phone. Keep it charged at all times, that's for sure. Even if this thing totally misses all of us and somehow completely dissipates, most likely not going to happen, but if it were to happen, everybody would jump for joy. Most people would. There are people that love tropical storms, so I can't say that they wouldn't be unhappy if that happened. But again, the things like batteries, things like that, it's more than just to keep you super safe. It's to keep people feel more comfortable. That they can sit back and call people during it going on, because people are going to worry about you, especially people who have never been through a hurricane or even close to it. People on the West Coast that are born and raised on the West Coast have no idea about hurricanes. So this is something like that. If they have friends that moved here, that maybe haven't have gone through it, stuff like that. So let me check one more time. Let me see what else we got going on here. All right. Sorry, waiting my friends in Florida. Oh, thank you. All right, awesome. A lot, getting people in. Thanks, Penny. Trying to get people, signed up, and do that. Try to get people signed up, because remember, we're talking about, MyRadar. It's more than just for tropical systems. It's for every day. It really is. You get all this information. It keeps you safe. It keeps you able to do your job better because you know exactly what to expect as you continue your way through the day. But for right now, for this minute, it's something that I would like everyone to have because then they can keep themselves safe. And like I said, hopefully I'm doing a good job of keeping you guys informed. The last thing in the world I want you to do right now is start panicking and start worrying about anything I've said because for me, like I said, it's all about just having that plan in the back of your head or in the front or sitting right in front of you on your phone because I have to put everything in my phone or I forget. So basically, it's right here. So, just make sure that, you have everything ready for what's going on or what could possibly happen. And that way you have it. And if you don't use it, you can use it for something else. So everybody sit back. Continue on with the rest of your Independence Day. I hope you had a fantastic one. I hope you had a very happy day and had a very safe one out there. A lot of things are going to happen the next couple of days, that is for sure. Everybody's going to be, especially in the Southeast, going to be keeping a very close eye on what's going to be happening. And I will be very, very busy sitting in this chair talking to you. But you know what? It does not bother me whatsoever because I love it. This is, being born and raised in Florida was what gave me that itch to learn more and more about weather. And that's when I said, you know what, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. And that's what I like to do. So sit back, relax, watch the sky, see what's going on. We still have the showers and storms, of course. Nothing at all to do with Elsa right now, but we are going to be watching. We're going to watch how things kind of deviate here as the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to have an area of low pressure in the western part, and then we've got the high that's over in the Atlantic. So again, a lot of different players here, almost like basketball, a lot of different players kind of moving right now. And until everybody kind of moves and settles down, we're going to have to wait and see exactly where else it does end up. So again, a lot of questions. So we'll try to keep them answered though as they do come about. So sit back, relax, have a great evening. I'm meteorologist Jamie Martin. We will see you later on tonight, or especially during the day tomorrow as Elsa starts to draw a little bit closer. You guys take care.